In a stunning display of power and precision, Terence Crawford has been landing vicious body shots in his training camp, sending shockwaves through the boxing world. What's even more electrifying is his claim that his punches hit harder, a bold statement that could change the trajectory of their highly anticipated fight. Crawford's confidence is as high as ever as he eyes a potential knockout in the making. He stated, "Anybody can be knocked out. Canelo's got a granite chin. He's tough, he's durable, but we've seen him hurt a couple of times, and given the right circumstances, anybody can get knocked out." Crawford's words are sending a chilling message to Canelo. No fighter is invincible. He knows that even the strongest can be broken under the right pressure. Crawford's confidence in his own power is clear, and he's ready to test Canelo's chin like never before. The boxing world is buzzing with anticipation, wondering if Crawford truly has the ability to knock the Mexican powerhouse down. With both fighters claiming their supremacy, only the ring will tell who's truly unstoppable. Crawford continues to back up his claim with a striking assessment of Canelo's physical attributes. His words raise eyebrows, hinting that size might not be as crucial as people think in this matchup.
I just believe in my abilities. Canelo's not a big guy.
Right.
He's 5'8".
Right, fought at 52 when he fought Pacquiao.
He's
or when he fought Floyd, rather.
He's big, like muscular wise, but far as like height,
right?
Nah. So that wouldn't be nothing that we had to see.
Crawford is throwing down the gauntlet, suggesting that Canelo's height and size won't be a significant factor in the fight. His belief in his own skills, combined with his confidence about Canelo's physical limitations, adds another layer to the drama building up to the fight. It's clear Crawford sees himself as the superior fighter, not intimidated by Canelo's reputation. With every comment, the tension between these two stars intensifies. The stage is set, and fans can't help but wonder if Crawford's predictions will come true in the ring. Robert Garcia, a seasoned trainer, weighs in on the Crawford versus Canelo matchup. While many doubt Crawford's chances due to size, Garcia sees something different in the undefeated fighter.
It's a fight that most of the people don't give Crawford a chance because of the size, but he's got skills, man. He's got skills. He's got good speed, good footwork. That's why I do give him a chance.
You do give Crawford.
I do give Crawford a chance, of course.
Garcia's words speak volumes about Crawford's potential. His belief in Crawford's speed and footwork highlights that skill can sometimes outweigh physical advantages. Even though size might be a factor in many people's eyes, Garcia sees Crawford's technique as the game changer. His endorsement has added fuel to the fire, intensifying the already heated debate about who will come out on top in this clash. With experts like Garcia backing Crawford, it's clear that this fight is more than just a size contest. It's a battle of pure boxing prowess. Robert Garcia digs deeper into Canelo's recent performances, questioning if the champion still has that same hunger he once had. Garcia suggests that Crawford might have an advantage if Canelo isn't at his best.
Canelo's last few fights, he does his work, he gets work done, but never does that little extra to please or to he knows he doesn't need to anymore, so he's just comfortable enough with just securing the win. He became a businessman, and I think that could be something in favor of Crawford, that if he comes out in his best and good footwork, Canelo is flat-footed.
Garcia's comments hit hard, suggesting that Canelo's focus has shifted away from dominating to just securing wins. The question now is whether that complacency will cost him when he faces a relentless fighter like Crawford. If Crawford comes out with fire and determination, he might exploit Canelo's flat-footed approach and seize the moment. This fight isn't just about skill, it's also about who is hungrier, who wants it more. With Garcia hinting at possible weaknesses in Canelo's game, the stakes have never been higher. Robert Garcia is far from impressed with Canelo's recent performance, particularly in his last fight. He points out the lack of aggression and the failure to push the pace, which could give Crawford an opening.
His last fight, especially against the runner, he was throwing one punch at a time, didn't even try to be aggressive and get him into the ropes, throw combinations of 4 to 5 punches. He never even tried that. So I think at this stage, I I am giving Crawford a big chance of maybe pulling it up.
Garcia's assessment doesn't hold back, suggesting that Canelo's recent passivity might be his downfall. The question now is whether Canelo's lack of aggression could give Crawford the upper hand. If Crawford seizes this chance and pushes the pace, he could surprise the boxing world. This isn't just about skill, it's about which fighter will step up when the pressure's on. With Garcia's bold prediction, the potential for an upset is becoming more and more likely. Garcia reflects on why he believes this fight is going to be one for the ages. He sees a real possibility that Crawford's style could push Canelo to his limits and bring out the best in both fighters.
I think that's why it's one of the fights that I'm really looking forward to, because yes, that's a possibility too. If Crawford starts with his speed and footwork and landing 2-3 punches at a time, which I think he will, I think that's going to bring the best out of Canelo too, to go out there and show the world that no, this small guy is not going to compete with me at this division. So I think it'll bring the best out of both. So that's why I really see it a great fight.
Garcia believes that Crawford's strategy could ignite a fire in Canelo, pushing him to prove he's the king of the division. The clash of styles, with Crawford's speed and Canelo's power, could lead to fireworks in the ring. This isn't just about who's the better fighter, it's about who can rise to the occasion and make a statement. With Garcia's anticipation, the pressure is on both fighters to bring their A game. The world will be watching to see who can handle the heat and who will come out on top. Daniel Jacobs also gives his take on the fight, acknowledging Crawford's superior skills, but also pointing out a crucial factor that could sway the outcome: the size difference.
Well, I would say Crawford wins the fight based off of the skill set. That's the first and foremost. I think the biggest worry for me when it comes to that is just the size difference. Because obviously, great Mike Tyson said, you have a game plan until you actually get in there and you get hit, and then that changes the whole outskite of the fight.
Jacobs highlights a pivotal point. No matter how well prepared you are, a solid punch can shift the entire dynamic of a fight. While Crawford's skills are undeniable, the power and size advantage Canelo brings to the table could change everything in an instant. Tyson's words ring true. A fighter's strategy often crumbles the moment they feel the force of their opponent's punch. This creates an unpredictable element, adding suspense to the already intense showdown. Daniel Jacobs continues to discuss Crawford's chances in the fight, emphasizing the importance of skill and strategy. He believes Crawford's ability to avoid Canelo's big shots will be key to his success.
So I'm hoping that he's able to endure what Canelo's gonna bring, but I think he has the skill set to be able to be like eluding all of the big shots and hit, not get hit. What does brother Nassim said? He has the most famous quote, "Swim without getting wet." And so I believe if Crawford could be that the night of the fight, I think he'll be successful. I think it'll be a big shot.
Jacobs brings in a powerful analogy to describe the fight, like swimming without getting wet. Crawford must dodge the heavy hits while landing his own. The true test will be if Crawford can evade Canelo's power and still make his presence felt. If he can execute this flawless strategy, Jacobs believes Crawford has a strong chance of pulling off an upset. The idea of hit, not get hit adds a whole new layer to the fight, where speed and defense could be just as important as raw power. Daniel Jacobs praises Canelo's greatness, but shifts the focus to Crawford's versatility, pointing out that his diverse skill set gives him an edge in the fight.
But not to the ones that know, right? Canelo is the man, like take nothing away from him, right? But I mean, if you really look at skill set, not putting in the factors of weight and power, I think we kind of got to lead with Crawford, being that he's so diverse. The dynamic of what he brings to the table is very versatile. He can switch. He not just switch stance. I mean, he can switch style. He can switch aggression. He could be elusive. He could be, So he's very multifaceted when it comes to what all he brings to the table. But that's still my dog. So regardless to what, win, lose, or draw.
Jacobs acknowledges Canelo's dominance, but insists Crawford's adaptability could be the key to winning. Crawford's ability to switch between styles, stances, and levels of aggression makes him a nightmare for any opponent. His multifaceted approach means that no matter what Canelo brings, Crawford has the tools to counter. While Jacobs clearly respects Canelo, he sees Crawford's versatility as the deciding factor in this fight. The question is whether Crawford can turn his skills into a tactical masterpiece on fight night. Jacobs discusses Canelo's ability to find his rhythm in a fight, even against tough opponents like Bivol. He acknowledges that while Canelo's power might be enough to keep fighters at bay, Crawford's skill set presents a whole different challenge.
Well, Canelo has a sneaky way of winning rounds. He has a sneaky way of finding his niche. For instance, when he fought the guy that he lost to just recently, Bivol, yeah. Shout out to Bivol. He wasn't really able to find that niche there, but in spurts you can see him adapting, right? And so the biggest difference between Bivol and Crawford is the size difference in the power. Even though Bivol was an ultimate boxer, he still was able to keep him off him with the sheer power and strength. But with Crawford, I think that it'll be challenging for Canelo to get around the skill set, but it wouldn't be challenging for him to be able to endure.
Jacobs believes Canelo's adaptability in the ring gives him an edge, but Crawford's skill set presents a whole new puzzle for the Mexican champion. While Bivol used power and strength to keep Canelo in check, Crawford's versatility and technical skills could make things much more complicated. Canelo might have the endurance to handle pain, but dodging Crawford's crafty moves and fast counters will be a different challenge altogether. Jacobs dives into Canelo's mindset, emphasizing that if the champion can take the hits and keep coming forward, he could still make it a tough fight for Crawford. But he also highlights the stats, showing that Crawford's output is hard to ignore.
The pain. And so that's what Canelo, because the mindset too is, if you can't hurt me, no matter what you do, I'm going to keep coming forward. So if Canelo can adapt that mindset, take the shots, because he's going to be thrown, like, you know, and if you look at the stats too, in terms of punch output, in terms of landing punches, like just the whole stat, Crawford is leading. And so I do think that it's a tough fight, but I will lean more towards Crawford simply of his, skill set.
Jacobs sees Canelo's mentality as a key factor, knowing that his relentless forward pressure can break opponents. However, Crawford's impressive punch output and skill set still put him ahead. Despite Canelo's toughness and aggression, Jacobs points out that Crawford's efficiency in landing punches could tip the scales. This isn't just a fight of power versus power, but a battle of speed, precision, and strategy. Tim Tszyu offers a cautious take on the fight, noting that the outcome depends heavily on which version of Canelo shows up. He reflects on Canelo's past performances, particularly against Triple G, while also acknowledging Crawford's impressive freshness despite his age.
It's hard to say because it depends on the Canelo that comes out, like the Canelo that fought Triple G in the second one. I thought that was probably the best Canelo that I've seen to date, but the Canelo that I've seen in recent years hasn't been the Canelo from the Triple G days, so that's what it's all about. But then again, Crawford's like 38 years old, but he's still fresh and he hasn't been hit, so that's the real question.
Tszyu emphasizes that if Canelo shows up with the same aggression and skill he displayed against Triple G, he could be a real challenge for Crawford. However, Canelo has not been the same fighter in recent years. Meanwhile, Crawford, despite his age, remains fresh and has avoided significant damage, which could give him an edge. This makes the fight more unpredictable, with both fighters bringing different strengths to the ring. The matchup is shaping up to be a thrilling and uncertain contest. Tim Tszyu critiques Canelo's recent approach, stating that he has become too predictable, relying heavily on brute force and physical strength. However, Tszyu believes Crawford's intelligence in the ring could be the key to exploiting these weaknesses.
I think he's just become predictable, he's got these certain shots and he's used his brute force and physical strength to just bully everyone, but right now in front of him, it's not someone that you can use your strength against because he's very, very smart, Crawford.
Tszyu makes a strong point. Crawford isn't the type of opponent who can be bullied. Unlike many of Canelo's previous foes, Crawford's intelligence and ability to outthink his opponent could disrupt Canelo's usual tactics. The fight now takes on a new level of complexity, as Canelo faces a fighter who can counter his strength with strategic brilliance. This challenge could force Canelo to rethink his game plan, making the fight even more unpredictable. The matchup is set to showcase not just power, but a battle of wits inside the ring. Tim Tszyu made his prediction for the fight, leaning toward Crawford as the favorite based on the analysis of his skill and approach in the ring. He stated, "I would go 65% Crawford." Tszyu's prediction adds weight to the growing consensus that Crawford has the upper hand in this fight. He recognizes Crawford's skill and intelligence as the deciding factors in what's shaping up to be a battle of strategies. While Canelo's power remains a threat, Tszyu's choice shows a belief in Crawford's ability to outmaneuver the Mexican champion. With Tszyu backing Crawford at a 65% chance, the anticipation only heightens. Fans and experts alike are now eagerly awaiting what will unfold when these two titans clash in the ring. Antonio Tarver highlights the crucial difference in this fight, pointing out that Canelo's size won't be the deciding factor against Crawford, who brings a unique skill set to the table.
No, bro, I know Crawford, and he's different. And see, the only thing different here is Canelo is not a bigger guy at that weight. He's not like he's standing 6'1", 6'2" like Bivol or one of those guys. So on fight night, the size is not going to be the main thing, the most important thing. It's going to be skill set. And both of them coming with their skill set.
Tarver firmly believes that skill, not size, will determine the outcome of the fight. He dismisses the size advantage many have given Canelo, emphasizing that both fighters are bringing their A game. Crawford's unique skill set is seen as his edge, capable of overcoming the size difference. With both champions coming in with their best abilities, the fight promises to be a technical masterpiece, with strategy and skill taking center stage. Antonio Tarver expresses concerns about Canelo's recent opponents, arguing that they haven't prepared him for a fighter like Crawford. He suggests that Canelo may need to tap into his old form to stand a chance.
But what I haven't seen lately is the opponents that Canelo is facing. Those guys aren't going to get him ready for a guy like Crawford. So Canelo is going to have to go back to that grind and turn back the hands of times too. Because if he show up like he did against Skull, he show up like he did against Benavidez, not Benavidez, but Berlanga, and the other guy. What's the other guy name?
Munguia.
Munguia, bro. Those guys, he didn't have enough activity.
Tarver emphasizes that Canelo's recent bouts have lacked the intensity and activity required to prepare for a fighter like Crawford. The champions of the past, like those Canelo faced recently, didn't push him to his limits the way Crawford will. If Canelo doesn't return to his peak form, he could be outclassed by Crawford's relentless skill and speed. This makes the upcoming fight even more crucial, with Canelo needing to find that extra gear to stay competitive. Antonio Tarver reflects on the last time he saw Canelo in top form, fighting Caleb Plant, and points out that Canelo's aggressiveness and combination punching will pose a serious challenge for Crawford.
The last time I saw Canelo that would beat, I think, this Crawford was Plant. Now, if that Canelo come cutting the ring off, throwing combination to the head and to the body, active, it's going to be a fight. It's going to be a hell of a fight. You know what I mean? And I still think I give Crawford a chance even then. So that's what type of talent I think Crawford is. He's definitely going to have to get used to that power. If he can take Canelo power, he's going to win the fight.
Tarver highlights the tough challenge Crawford faces, needing to handle Canelo's powerful shots and relentless combinations. Canelo's aggression, if executed properly, could overwhelm Crawford. However, if Crawford can absorb the power and keep his wits about him, his superior skills could lead him to victory. The fight promises to be a war, with both fighters bringing different strengths to the ring. Tarver believes that Crawford's ability to weather Canelo's power will be the defining factor in this high-stakes battle. Al Bernstein also reflects on the challenge of Crawford moving up in weight to fight Canelo, acknowledging the significant difference in their weight classes and the potential impact it could have on the fight.
You know, listen, when this fight was announced, my initial reaction was that, you know, it's a lot of weight for Crawford to go up to. He started below 147, obviously, as a fighter, so he's going pretty far up in weight. Now, Canelo himself was a 154-pounder, so, you know, he went all the way up to 168, but there's a little difference there. And I think that that's a big issue. Now, whether that's enough to make it impossible for Crawford to win this fight.
Bernstein raises a valid concern about the weight difference, highlighting how much Crawford is moving up compared to Canelo. While Canelo has adapted to different weight classes, Crawford is stepping up from a lower weight, which could impact his power and endurance in the fight. The challenge of adjusting to a higher weight could be a major factor in how Crawford performs against the much larger Canelo. Al Bernstein further discusses the evolution of Canelo's career, noting that he's not the same fighter he was a few years ago.
This is a different Canelo Alvarez. It's not the same one from 5 years ago, or 4 years ago, or even 3. So there's that. And then there's all the different eccentricities of each boxer. For Crawford, he's not going to hurt Canelo. But almost nobody hurts Canelo. He's got a rock chin. But can Crawford, who isn't always a volume puncher, make sure that if he's being the boxer puncher, he throws enough punches to win every round?
Bernstein brings up a crucial point about Canelo's legendary chin, which makes it difficult for opponents to hurt him. He questions if Crawford, despite not being a heavy volume puncher, can throw enough punches to control the rounds and secure a victory. The key here is Crawford's ability to adapt and remain active in the ring, knowing that power alone may not be enough to defeat Canelo. This fight hinges on whether Crawford can maintain the right balance of boxing skill and offensive output to edge out Canelo.
That's important. And for Canelo, if he doesn't hurt Terence Crawford, which he might, can he sustain in those later rounds where we've seen Canelo Alvarez from time to time just fade a little bit? Crawford's a very good fighter into the later rounds. We saw him stop Porter, and we've seen him have other excellent performances. So, there's a lot of those questions swirling around.
Al Bernstein considers the challenges Canelo may face in the later rounds, especially if he can't hurt Crawford early on. Bernstein raises a significant question about Canelo's stamina in the later rounds, a critical factor that could impact his performance against a durable fighter like Crawford. The real test will be whether Canelo can maintain his dominance as the fight progresses, or if Crawford's endurance and skill will prove to be the deciding factors. Al Bernstein, after weighing the factors involved in the fight, admits that he's uncertain about who will win.
But right now, I don't know if I could pick either guy, really. I would have said Canelo Alvarez before, but now I'm like, and it's always happened. It always happens when fights get closer. Now I'm like, I don't want to be out on a limb so much for that.
Bernstein's indecision reflects the growing tension and uncertainty surrounding the fight as the date nears. Initially leaning toward Canelo, he now finds it tough to pick a clear winner, acknowledging the unpredictable nature of such high-stakes bout. With so many factors at play, Bernstein's hesitation is a reminder that anything can happen when these two champions meet. Raul Marquez shares his excitement about the upcoming fight, comparing it to some of the biggest matchups in boxing history.
I think it's a great matchup. I mean, it's like they say, the fight of the century. Not too long ago, I was at this fight when they called it the 1-2 when it was Mayweather against Canelo, and it was titled D1. Now we got D1 again, and I think it's the biggest fight to be made right now. I mean, yes. In all kinds of ways, because you got two big names. You got Crawford that moving up in two weight classes. He really has nothing to lose. I look at it that way. He has the opportunity to fight the face of boxing, so why not?
Marquez emphasizes the magnitude of this fight, calling it the biggest one that can be made right now. He points out how Crawford, moving up 2 weight classes, has everything to gain and nothing to lose. This opportunity to fight the face of boxing is a rare chance for Crawford, and it adds even more intrigue to the matchup. The anticipation surrounding the fight is at an all-time high, with both fighters having everything to prove. The stakes couldn't be higher, and fans are ready for what promises to be a thrilling spectacle. Raul Marquez further offers a surprising prediction. He believes Crawford has a good chance of winning, pointing out key physical advantages that could play a significant role in the fight.
I think you guys are gonna be surprised. I think Crawford has a good chance of winning. I picked Crawford to win that fight.
Wow.
I think if you look at both fighters, Crawford is he's a little bit taller than Canelo. He definitely has more reach than Canelo.
Yes.
I believe it's like 3 inches. He's got long arms.
Marquez's unexpected pick adds a fresh perspective, giving Crawford a legitimate shot at beating Canelo. He highlights Crawford's physical advantages, such as his height and reach, which could give him the necessary edge to control the fight. The added 3-inch reach difference could prove to be a decisive factor in keeping Canelo at bay, especially when considering Crawford's ability to work from distance. The build-up to this fight between Canelo and Crawford is truly something special. Both fighters have their strengths and weaknesses, and the uncertainty around who will win only adds to the excitement. Canelo's power, experience, and resilience are undeniable, but Crawford's skill, adaptability, and endurance make him a serious threat. It's a matchup that fans and experts alike are still debating, and it's clear that anything can happen when these two step into the ring. What do you think? Can Canelo's power and experience overcome Crawford's skill and stamina? Will Crawford be able to handle Canelo's size and strength, or will Canelo struggle to keep up with Crawford's pace and strategy? As the fight gets closer, the anticipation only grows. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this.